Hello, good evening. A very happy Lori and Makar Sankranti and so much more. In fact, across the country today, we are celebrating various festivals. So I really wish and pray you all the happiness. May the Lori fire burn away all your worries and Makar Sankranti bring you prosperity, happiness, and good health in your life. And I think we must pause to actually look at these festivals and as a moment of celebration to be able to take look back and move forward, because I think it's very important to preserve the past and before we move onwards and look at other things. And I think the same applies to many more. So wishing everyone a lot of happiness, lot of cheer, lot of prosperity, and lot of success most of all. Yeah. Let me start this session today by just bringing in why we are here. And first of all, thank you so much. All of you have been so kind to have joined us here, even today on the day of the festivals. And I welcome you wholeheartedly to Tech Talk Tuesday for Teachers. My name is Meenakshi Oberoi, and I'm thrilled to have you join here with me today as we dive into the topic that's reshaping classrooms across the globe. And I think that is artificial intelligence. And I think with every new opportunity comes a set of new responsibilities. So today we are going to talk about ground rules for responsible AI use. And as educators, I think we stand at the intersection of innovation and impact. AI is no longer, a distant concept. I've visited classrooms across the country, and one thing that is common is that we all are trying to leverage AI in some or the other way to probably make better lesson plans or learning engagements or better our assessments or even our student interactions for that matter. But I think while we are doing all of that, a subtle reminder about the great power that comes with greater responsibility. So that's why today's conversation is all about setting ground rules. No rules are not to be broken. And it's not just for AI, but I'm going to talk about responsibility in general first. That is, how can we move forward wisely, ethically, and with purpose? And I always talk about purpose, right? And anyone and everyone who is here or who's going to listen to this session later as well, please don't think that I don't think I'm at the stage where I should be talking about responsibility. I've just about started. Well, whether you've started to experiment with AI tools or you're already integrating them, uh, it's a time to pause to gain more clarity, confidence, and and brew a community of like-minded educators who, from the start, know uh, what are the responsibilities, what is it that I should think about before starting to use AI. So let me not just keep talking, but give you something to talk about. So please get your fingers going as I bring to you the question of the day. And before diving into any of the ground rules or responsible AI use or anything, I always like to pause and gather the thoughts in the room. In a very simple and yet powerful question, I'm going to ask you, when you think or hear about the word responsible, what comes to your mind? So get my chat window rolling with your responses. What comes to your mind when you hear the word responsible? It's such a heavy word. What comes to your mind? And of course, please do introduce yourself in the chat window, your name, your school name, and the city from where you're joining. And I can see I have a vast variety of audience that are here with us today. Some new, many old, and it's always good to have you here. Welcome back. And those who are new to this place, well, welcome to you too. So go ahead and please introduce yourself in the chat window and answer this simple question: what comes to your mind when I say the word responsible? Yeah, I don't want you to work in a hurry. Take a moment, let the words settle in your mind, and think about what is it about? Is it about doing the right thing when no one's watching, or is it about being accountable for your choices. I'm not going to say more because more I feed you, more I say. I would love to hear from you. What comes to your mind when you hear the word responsible? I'm waiting for your responses to come in the chat window. I know it's pretty cold in Delhi. And so some of our might be having our lazy fingers in our pockets or, somewhere warm. But go ahead, exercise your fingers. I'm sitting here with you, taking this webinar. Nidhi ma'am, I would love the response from you. I know you always are very active. So go ahead and share in the chat window what comes to your mind when I say the word responsible. Thank you, Shimpi ma'am. I really needed someone to get my chat window going. I can see you're typing. Ah, Lena, thank you so much. Fulfilling duties. That's heavy. Nice. And let's see, there are more coming in. Niti Gupta ma'am is typing. Answerable. Shimpi ma'am says answerable. Absolutely. Neeta ma'am says 100% sure. Okay, fantastic. I mean, this is why I need my chat window running because when I'm sitting in front of a screen, I really feel I hope people are listening and we are going to respond. So yeah, let's talk about responsibility. I'll just wait for about a response, one or two more responses that are coming in, and then probably move onwards. I could see Nidhi ma'am typing in, but I, yeah. Okay. So till the responses come in, let me pick up from what you've said. Fulfilling duties, answerable or 100% sure. Or maybe it's about, acting to your best interest of those who trust you, or which means that you're looking, well, no one is looking, I'm really doing the right thing. I am responsible, I'm mindful, I'm watchful. I could be many things, and responsibility in education isn't just a value. I think it is something that we live every day as teachers, as we are shaping up the softest of the hearts and the minds. I think it is upon us that this word responsible is the center of our thinking. And when we bring AI into our classrooms, I think the whole piece becomes more critical because AI is something that is being used by everybody. So we need to pause to reflect as to what we think, how are we leading, and how we care that we are responsibly moving ahead. And let's challenge ourselves today to lead with integrity, curiosity, and courage. And let's make sure that every decision we make with AI is the one we would be proud to explain to a student that, yes, we did use this and why and how we use this. As a second piece, yes, I wanted to make it very interactive today. So I brought you another one. Here's another pause to reflect kind of a question. My question to you is because I know when the word responsible comes in, it's very hard to explain in words. Therefore, I put it like this. Which of these do you think is the biggest challenge when AI is used in the classroom? A, B, C, or D? And you can respond to me by just A, B, C, D. A, ensuring academic integrity. B, protecting students' privacy. C, avoiding biases in AI outputs. Or D, preventing over reliance on technology. And I know one piece you will say, yeah, yeah, definitely this one. And I know many of you will say, no, not just one. I think it's more than one. So go ahead, take a moment to think about it. And you might have already, had a gut response, but maybe have read all the four very carefully, and that's okay to take time. And this question is really not about choosing the right answer. It is more about the concern that you may have as a teacher. So go ahead and share with us. Oh, Nidhi ma'am's response. What a beautiful one. Responsibility basically means you're the one who owns a task or outcome. It's like when you promise to water a friend's plant. If it dies, you're the one who has to own that. In short, being accountable about something and making sure it's done right. Perfectly done, Nidhi ma'am. Thank you for that. And I would love to hear what do you think, what do you see as the biggest challenge when using AI in education? A, ensuring academic integrity. B, protecting student privacy. C, avoiding biases, in AI inputs or outputs, sorry. And D, preventing over-reliance on technology. Go ahead and share with me what do you think is the biggest challenge that you face? You can simply respond by saying A, B, C, or D, or a combination as you like it. A, ensuring academic integrity, of course. They copy and paste everything and they bring to your class, isn't it? Well, the more important question is how do we promote, foster, and model uh, integrity? Okay, taking from what you've just said, I think each of these challenges touches in a different way as far as trust is concerned, and whether it's integrity of assessments, privacy of student data, or fairness in algorithms, or basically a balance between tech and teaching. These are the conversations that will define what responsible leadership looks like. So, today we will unpack them together as to how we as educators can respond with clarity, with courage, and with care when it comes to situations like these. These are the four situations that I've taken today. So, today's session, our first focus is going to be building a foundational lens, a way to see AI not just as a tool, but also as a system shaping human choices, because that's exactly what we are doing while we are using any of the tools. Now, this also, you can extend to social media as well, not just use of AI, but to any tech use it for that matter. And we need to pause to reflect on the decisions that we difficult decisions, I would say, that we make sometimes. And somewhere it's a very big dilemma to how to address. For example, a student has just copy and pasted something from the AI response and given it to you. How do you handle this? Well, the digital world actually reflects the human values. That is something that we need to really put it out there, even in front of students. So, while you are behaving or you are doing anything just online, is a reflection of who you are, is what I would say would be your, should be your to go. And, while you move forward, I think this clarity is something that we need to bring to everybody, whether it's students, teachers, parents, or any user of technology, that don't think just because this is online and you're invisible, you actually are. Somebody in one of my sessions wrote a beautiful piece where they said footprints without feet. Oh, that was amazing. I mean, honestly, we don't realize the kind of responsibility that we need to bear as we, move online or use AI. So it's very important that we explore what the ground rules are, and we keep asking us whose values are embedded in this tool, whose voices are missing. What do you think I can do to ensure that I stay responsible? Because I strongly believe that being responsible is intentional. No one, and just no one can move me if I know how I am supposed to act. If I know my right from wrong and my purpose is clear, I think I'm intentional. I think it is also ethical because uh, we need to consider the impact it might have on others, on our community, on our students, on the future itself. And accountable, like you also said that, right? We mean we need to have our decisions in such a way that we own our decisions. We reflect, we adapt, we stay open to feedback. Now, all of these together are what will help us stay responsible. In the context of, I think, education, the first thing that I would say is, we must always prioritize. Uh, to be these two pieces to be laid out. Using technology safely, ethically, and in a very transparent manner is what is very important. Therefore, disclosing when AI was used in the assignment is a must. Just make it a normal norm. Let that not let that not be a fear in the minds to say, what if they come to know that I've used AI? So what? It's there for you to use. But the problem is, I don't know how to use it responsibly. Number two, respecting privacy, academic integrity, and fairness. For example, not sharing your personal data with AI tools. You always say that, I am a student of so and so, and I need, help with handling this and this and this as I am struggling with this. You have given all of your I to this AI. Is that the right way to go? So we need to bring these conversations into play. Take a look at this one. A student uses AI to write an essay and submits it without mentioning AI. Is this responsible? Why or why not? Well, this is where we start thinking about what should I say? How should I handle this situation? In the real world, here's another one. Just a second. Yeah, here's another one. A teacher uses AI to generate a quiz and doesn't review the questions before giving it to students. Is this responsible? Why or why not? These are some of the questions that we need to ask because these are not hypothetical. They are actually happening in our classes right now. And there is important question about transparency, accountability, and professional judgment. What concerns do these scenarios raise for us? These tell us that being responsible with AI is not going to just be told to you. We need to practice it. We need to be principled enough about it. And while these things are happening, we don't have to turn the other way. We rather have to, pause to actually reflect that they and acknowledge that they're actually happening and be responsible about it. Like you said, Lena, fulfilling duties. Another one over here. A student asks AI ideas for a science project and then researches those ideas further before creating their own work. Is that right or wrong? Well, it's a very thin line between right or wrong. AI is being used as a brainstorming tool, not a shortcut. Why it matters? Because using AI for idea generation is something that that can encourage, creativity or help students think in this whole learning process. So, what is my talking point to the child? My talking point to the child is AI can be a starting point, but you have to refine it, build on those ideas yourself, and this is how you will be using AI responsibly. So rather than denying them of the opportunity of using AI, we would rather acknowledge and help them move in the right direction by saying, your project ideas are great, but what do you feel about it? These are the researches that AI has helped you do. It has given you a pool of ideas. Now create your original work. Be ethical, be responsible. Now that's where they start feeling that, oh, I don't think I should fear. There's no harm in sharing that I did use and how much did I use. And from where should I start using it now or which direction should I go? They need your guidance at every point. A teacher uploads student names and grades into an AI tool to generate personalized feedback. And believe you me, this has happened multiple times. Someone asked me, in fact, in a session, but that's one thing that takes so much time. If AI can solve that for me, it'll be a boon. Yeah, it will be, but it wouldn't be a responsible use of AI. Why? Because this is a footprint that you're creating. You never know when down the years, when this child is applying for a college admission or, going for jobs, and they search or they look up about this person, I mean, you know how AI is shaping up, how it's becoming intrusive, right? And the teacher had uploaded, therefore a reference to just that piece will be made, that in grade 7, 8, or 9, in their math, science, or social sciences class, this is how the student performed. Now that is no reflection at all on the performance of the student. However, that has become a footprint. So never share names, grades, sensitive information, any of the platforms, any of the AI or non AI platforms. Please do not ever share. Choose education focused AI tools with privacy safeguards. I would say there are some tasks that are to be done by humans. So let's be responsible enough to not use AI over there. Use AI for generic responses, as in, what if a student has done this? What kind of feedback do you think I could do? Now, that is generic. That's being responsible. That's data privacy. I'm keeping it with me. I'm not really giving it out. It's not a breach of privacy or compliance. I think I've talked enough. I'm going to pause here. I'm going to give you a question for you to respond. A grade 9 English teacher at a government school of excellence pilots AI support during assessment week. Students can use AI assistant only for brainstorming and feedback, and they must disclose AI use. Interesting, isn't it? Well, what happened? Several essays were well structured but sounded generic. One quiz generated by AI contained a culturally biased example, and a student pasted their full name and phone number into AI to get personalized feedback. Well, well, well. Responsibility just walked out of the window, isn't it? What do we do? How do we handle such things? Because these are real scenarios happening in real classrooms. So, how do you handle this? What do you say, do, or uh, you know, uh, act? What do you do that then? Go ahead and tell me, because this is a real life scenario. And it'll happen in your class. If it hasn't happened till now, it will happen. You will bring in AI to support, a learning or assessment for that matter. Students will be using AI assistants. What do you think you should be doing? Was this responsible on the part of teacher? Is my first question. Well, from teacher's setup, I think the teacher has given students a choice to use AI mindfully and has set boundaries. Or are there blurred boundaries? That's my first question because that's not clear over here. What could have been done differently to protect the privacy or, promote originality? That is my second question here. Um, Three, how are you ensuring that there will be ethical use? Now, these are a very broad questions that we are asking because I think responsibility is not about just creating rules, it is about readiness. Are your students ready for it? So, today we are dwelling into four pieces. Teachers' actions can be divided here into four pieces. Based on this case study, I'm taking this onwards. First of all, academic integrity. I think shifting the assessment design to include processes like artifacts, process artifacts. For example, when you write your essay, give me an outline of what you're going to write. Show me the first draft and probably some revision notes. Those would be my process artifacts. Or how we used to do in our class was um, if you have to write an essay, and back then we did not even have AI or students wouldn't go online to write their essays. However, there was a process to it. We don't just tell them go write an essay. We would give them a topic and we'll say, first, create a word bank. What words come to your mind when I've given you this topic? Next, create a kind of a mind map or a structure or a flow chart of what do you want to write. So that's like an outline. Then write the first draft. Next, we used to work on the grammar. We used to work on, using the right conjunctions or repetitive words that were there. How can you replace these words? So we used to work on the language. So while you're writing an essay, it's an art. Therefore, it has to have drafts. So even if in our classrooms we are not able to, afford many drafts, at least one draft is should be mandatory. Number two, AI use reflection. That's a great piece if you can do. How did AI help you? What changed? Could you have thought about it yourself? If AI helped you the next time you're using AI, how differently will you use it? This gets your student thinking. Just telling them to become mindful, to be reflective doesn't really work. Next piece is student privacy. Conducting a 10-minute lesson just before, it's just a mini lesson, just before asking them to use AI. For example, just pick up this topic only. Let's say never enter your personal data into AI. Use school accounts and stick to anonymized text rather than giving away your own information. School accounts, especially school accounts like M365, will show them the shield. It just takes about a few seconds. Do you see the green shield? Tap on it. Now, in Copilot, when you look at the green shield on the top right corner, it tells you that this provides you enterprise level security. And give them the assurance that when you're using M365 Copilot, then your data is not being used, shared, or being trained upon. That gives them confidence. That brings them mindfulness. That tells them that when I'm about to use any other tool, I should be asking these right questions. Model this behavior for them. Whenever you use, you have to make a mention of these so that they understand what you're saying and you're walking the talk. And it becomes like a habit. Like I said, responsibility is not something I'll wake up to today. This is something that is fostered, developed, and I think inculcated over a period of time. Avoid biases. How do you avoid biases? Well, by saying that I want to avoid. Review checklist. Build a checklist for AI content. Check facts. Scan for stereotypes. Ensure representation. If you give just these three checklists also, now when they are giving you AI generated content, I am sure they will become very meaningful, mindful. And to bring them to a checklist stage, it's also good to give them a rubric support. In the sense, I'll create a rubric right now in a few minutes to show you how I can take help from AI itself to create a rubric for avoiding biases. It's very important because they should know what are the stages of biases. They don't know. So don't we. But let's learn from AI. So I'm partnering with AI to learn more responsible use of AI. Make sense? Well, I'm going to just showcase to you in a few minutes. Last but not the least, preventing over reliance. Oh, that's the toughest one. How do you make it possible? Is it even possible? Introducing AI optional zone is something that you must try in your class. Um, we always tell our students, okay, you can use AI. We say can, we never say must, right? So we create AI optional zones there. We tell them, if you use I would want you to think about, reflect about it, and probably have a kind of an oral viva, kind of an interview or just an interaction, not even an interview. I'm saying just just to know how are they thinking about AI, where AI is permitted, how to preserve independent thinking. We have to model all of this and we have to share and put it out there to say, students, when you submit your work, it should be more authentic. It should reveal your reflection. It should be genuine learning. Don't just give me something that you've copy pasted. Uh, because if you do, then I will not be able to see you in it. I'll see AI in it and I'll say, wow, but I'll not say, wow, you. So, that's where the difference is. Students can learn about these privacy boundaries, why, this data is important, why should I be using AI mindfully, which means you are actually making AI a part of the workflow, but also putting in guardrails wherever necessary. So, where you keep AI out and where you don't. So, till a certain point and for a certain purpose, it's okay to use AI. But beyond that, well, let's think about it. I hope that makes sense to you. Please do share your thoughts in the chat window. I'm just going to move on with a few things because I know I'm here to help you unpack responsible AI. But please share your thoughts, your worries, whatever you gather out of our conversations here in the chat window. I'd love to hear your thoughts. So here's another scenario. Let's analyze. This scenario is about academic integrity and over-reliance, a typical example from a typical classroom. A student submits a very polished, discloses AI use. I asked AI to write introduction and conclusion. Is this responsible? Is this acceptable? I don't know. Depends on what you wanted the student to do. How would you assess learning in this case? If the introduction and the conclusion were not written by the student. responsible. If AI is used for draft scaffolding, idea generation, student revises, cites AI use, and explains the changes they made. Not responsible if the student delegates original thinking to AI, outsources, the whole thesis or whole essay to AI, and presents it to you. Those are the two thin lines that we need to actually not stay blurred about. We need to move to practice. Require AI use statement or revision log or source citation. Incorporate a short interaction saying, you wrote this line. Can you tell me what this means? That's about it. Or can you actually quote an example to support this line? That's where they get thinking. We don't need to negate what they have brought. One, they need to acknowledge and cite the use of AI, and we need to bring in a lens of, okay, this is fine if you've taken the idea. What do you think about it? Your originality, your personality, your thinking, your understanding, your knowledge is what must reflect through the essay. That's about it. And suddenly you'll see them very responsible. And of course, we'll use AI as a thinking partner to see what kind of prompts will work for me if I need to become more responsible. How do I bring in this piece of responsibility? And, look at the guardrails. So even in an AI resistant lesson, how can I play a very supportive role as a teacher to the students, ensuring that student responses remain authentic and human and not AI generated? So here's my first one. I tried this and I'm going to try this with you now. This is a prompt that, I tried when I said that, a grade 9 uh, essay assignment requires students to show outline, draft, and revision and includes AI use disclosure at 3 questions to check independent understanding. You know, this is one of the prompts that could actually help you modify the way you are giving your assignment. This is all about lesson design and integrity. So I'm going to take you to Copilot to see how, what kind of response I get out of this, and what kind of problem am I solving by doing this. So I'm going to share my screen again as I go to Copilot. Here you go. This is Copilot. And remember, always while I go over here, I have to point towards this green shield on top right. Let it, load for you. I'm just waiting. Yeah. Okay. I think you can see it. Yeah, you can. Okay. This green shield is what I'm talking about. Spend about a few seconds to just mention. Do remember this is AI. AI responses are not always trustworthy. More you say it, more they understand. Half the time they listen, half the time not. But each time when you say it, well, they will. And of course, point towards the green shield saying enterprise data protection. Don't mind opening this up and, showing it. So I'm going to go ahead and try my prompt over here. It says suggest a grade 9 essay assignment that requires students to show processes. Um, Essay assignment on climate change. Let me make it more real. Okay, on climate change that requires them to do and add 3 Viva questions for independent understanding. Now, what I'm doing is I'm trying to become more responsible, right? I've not said that uh, in my prompt. Now you see over here, it's given me that that should be the word limit. Have a clear main point and subpoints, first draft, revised draft, final essay. AI use disclosure should be like this. I, as a teacher, I'm going to take this statement and I'm going to put it on the board. Please let me know if you're using AI. It's all right for you to say that. And here's your disclosure statement. Put it under your worksheet. You will see students making a tick, I used, did not use, or whichever way you want it. The criteria is here and the questions are here. So what you're trying to do over here is you're trying to break free of the stigma of whether you have used AI or not. Now, I want them to become more responsible. So I'm going to say my lens is responsibility. My lens is responsibility. Okay. Encourage providing evidence and over reliance, and help me make uh, mechanisms to promote responsible use of AI. So, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to take help from AI to be able to say, how can I help students become more responsible? Mandatory documentation process. That's something that I spoke about. AI use disclosure. Number two, reflection paragraph. I would say just about one line on reflection is also enough. AI free component. Very proudly highlight what is not being done by AI, because you will see them that they are marking. And what is it that you are able to allocate? Rubric weightage is something that works wonderful. Process evidence should be 20%, original thinking should be 20%, responsible AI disclosure 10%. You know, if you have these kind of weightages and have a penalty, of course, to go with it, I think we will slowly make them more responsible. An extra layer could be share examples of good and poor usage of AI. So, I would say I'm going to ask you over here to go ahead and elaborate on this, because AI, it's all about AI literacy, right? Elaborate on this. Now, when I ask my co-pilot to become my co-thinker in this, I think I have to pick and choose the pieces that resonate with me. It says fact check claim, check for biases, assess completeness, cross-verify citations. I think this is a good piece to make actually a complete rubric. So let me say that create a checklist and rubric for this. Now, this is what could go along with my worksheet or along with my task to students, probably a more simplified one, okay, over here, and probably a rubric that you can pick and choose to say, what is it that I can do for fact checking? Probably I could keep completedness, I could keep citation accuracy, or probably, just start over here. Huh? Or, originality in voice. These two are more than enough to begin with. The rest can still wait. So, slow uh, formation of habits, slow release of uh, creating responsible behavior is something we could consider. And it's very important to show them what are examples of good AI usage. Okay, now this is where it'll bring in further clarity. What is it that I can do then? And what is it that I shouldn't be doing? You can brainstorm ideas, you can polish your language, you can fact check to support, or probably, you can put this in front of them to say, what do you think? What else do you think could you be putting over here? Especially this. If this is what good usage is, what is poor usage? Let them define, because that's where you'll come to know what all are they doing to take AI's help. Not just copy pasting, they must be doing 10 more things and it'll come out of them. And then you get into a reflection mode to say, okay, now let's write a reflection of responsible use of AI, which is good use of AI, and a poor use of AI. And make a statement to yourself to say, okay, in my assignments, I will, or I would like to. Something like that. Give them some sentence starters. So I would say reflection, sentence starters for good use of AI and what to avoid. You see, very simply, your mini lesson plan is ready. Brainstorming with AI is a beautiful piece. There you go. You have such good sentence starters, right? So you ask them to pick up a sentence starter or two from here and one from here, and just write 3 lines about your good use of AI. That's it. And you will see a change. And believe you me, we can we can actually talk about it for ages and sit and discuss this over multiple, pieces that, what do you think I should do? But what is it that I should actually be doing is helping my student think in the right direction. And to do so, I need to give my student ways of thinking the right way and not hiding things from us. Just letting us know that, yeah, we did use, and this is how I used it. What do you think I should do differently so that I become more responsible? So, your question each time could be, are you really responsible? But just writing these statements or thinking about these statements, does it make you more responsible or does it guide you into the right direction? Yeah, to a certain extent. But the child is still thinking, okay, then what's the right prompt to actually give, to ask while I'm doing this assignment? In that case, you must bring in prompts like these that are very helpful. The student can use this prompt to say, help me brainstorm three angles on the essay of climate change. I'll just write this as change. I will choose one and write it myself. Also, give me a checklist to reflect on how I use your idea. Yeah, probably I could add something more over here. I will choose and write it myself. Uh, Provide a list of keywords that I could use. That's the help that one can take from AI. This sort of a prompt practice, if we do with our students, we are guiding them in the right direction so that AI knows that it's not supposed to tell me everything, but I'm just brainstorming with you. Another way to do it was, um, let's say I'm here. I'm just going to copy this much, right? Let's take it stepwise. Help me brainstorm three angles. Give me ideas. Give me an idea. Then ask me to respond. And let's build on the ideas together. What do you think? Well, that's a way in which you are making AI your co thinking partner and you're actually collaborating with AI to respond. Well, the three angles could be, idea is explore how human actions, industrialization, deforestation, consumption drive climate change and ethical responsibility. Hey, this is a good one. Now, the first thing that I need to do is I need to respond to this. I choose angle one. Okay, what next? Now the child doesn't know what to do, right? And that's exactly how students work. Okay, I don't know how to do. They start talking to this, or they start brainstorming with this piece. But remember, I've already said, let's build on it together. Therefore, it will maintain, let's build on it together. Do you see this? It will never give me direct answers because I've already trained it to say, help me build on it. Now I'll say, okay, maybe I didn't know about, driving these changes, industrialization and fossil fuel use, deforestation and land use. I think this is something that I can do, right? And overconsumption and waste, or either of these. So let's say I choose this. Okay, and then I'll say I choose to focus on overconsumption and waste. So what I'm doing is I'm getting like a list of ideas, but I'm choosing this, especially language teachers, science teachers, social sciences teachers, computer science teachers. Please teach these skills to students. They don't just need to know about AI, they need to know how to interact with AI. That is what is most important, right? Now, again, if you see over here, it says, let's build on this. And it's just asking me questions. And then you know what students say? Ma'am, it's just asking me questions. It's not giving me any answers. Well, yeah, that's responsibility. That's being responsible. And as a practice, in some of our classes where we've been working with schools together, we have started offering some of the AI prompts that students could use in the worksheet itself, because we know students are going to go to AI to ask. So we say, here is a suggested prompt. And very cleverly, we build in over there these kind of statements where we say, let's build it together. It'll not give you answers, but it'll keep asking you questions and help you form that idea rather than giving you any direct response. That's being responsible, right? So, shared responsibility between the student and the teacher and the AI tool is what we must look forward to. And that's something I think that where we can together build this partnership towards responsible use of AI. I just gave you one example and gave you a student example to go with it. Um, if you have any thoughts, please do let me know. Yogesh sir, I hope you're able to hear us now. I'm not sure why you were not able to hear, but if you're able to hear, do give me a thumbs up or tell me in the chat window you're able to hear me. Okay, here's another one. Now, remember we spoke about the rubric and I just created. So I'm not going to go back to Copilot right now, but here's a simple prompt that you could use, let's say for privacy awareness you want to use. So you could say that, create a feedback rubric for student writing that does not require personal data and includes criteria for AI assisted drafting and transparency and originality. So what this does is it helps you this kind of a prompt helps you center privacy and integrity. This is what it is going to promote. And if the student is typing this, we would say, uh, if you've written your piece, go ahead and ask AI to give you feedback on the paragraph. No names, no personal details. Okay. Suggest improvements for clarity, for argument strength, without really writing it for me. You get it how cleverly it has been built in? Without rewriting it for me. It will give you a feedback like a teacher. In your essay, you have written wonderful words. However, this is something that you could think about. It keeps your data minimal and it promotes learning. While we are not able to focus on every student in every lens possible, this is one of the simplest ways to promote learning. Let's take this one. Generate a checklist to review AI created quiz for accuracy, cultural bias, stereotypes, representations aligned to K-12 learning outcomes, that to NCERT learning outcomes. Imagine, I think every school and even NCERT hosts these sessions for teachers where we talk about biases, the gender biases, we talk about mental health, we talk about so many things. But it is still very difficult to bring it in practice. However, if we are mindful and if we take help of AI, we can actually generate this sort of a checklist. Let me take you to Copilot once again, show you how I would use if I were you to generate this. And if I'm giving a quiz, let's say I'm, creating a AI created quiz on, uh, let's say, soils of India. Okay, so just a second. Soils of India for accuracy, cultural bias, stereotypes, representations, and they should be aligned to K-12 learning outcomes. I'm going to now wait for the response. Why? Because I really have no idea how to bring in, when I'm doing soils of India, what do you mean by accuracy and cultural bias? I'm sitting in Northern India. I might be talking only about soils in Northern India more than others. If I'm doing so in my test or in my quiz or in my content, AI should be able to help me till that. Content accuracy. Are all your facts about soil types, all types of soils? Look how beautifully it has been picked up exactly from my chapter, right? Do the properties of these match sources? Are regional distributions accurate? Are examples of crops and practices relevant to Indian context and in our curriculum? Now, if I use this as a checklist, it just helps me become more, more aligned to what's required and prevents me from any kind of biases that might come in my, the way I teach or learn with students. Yeah, any kind of hallucinations, any kind of probably convert this checklist also into a rubric, why not? and give it to me, and I then upload my worksheet to say, okay, now analyze this one if I have been biased or unbiased, or there are shades of basically. And yeah, you will be surprised to see how there are shades of being biased and unbiased in most of the work that we are doing, and we don't even know about it. And the more we explore, more we will be able to understand how to recognize it, how to acknowledge that yeah, this happened, and probably ask AI to review this AI made passage for stereotypes or one-sided examples, or suggest how to make inclusions of gender, region, socioeconomic backgrounds. So what we're trying to do here is, the responsibility lens that I have over here is critical awareness. you know, some things that may not strike us at the first go, but probably a deeper thought is something that might be required. And probably, these are some of the things that we might not even think in our everyday teaching learning. I'll give you another very simple example. All the names that we keep are normally regional. So whenever I look at a question paper, looking at the question paper, I can tell you uh, which region of India would this be from, or the crops that we talk about. Even in a mathematics paper, you will see names, you will see regions, you will see mention of the food type of food. So the story sums that are made. Well, just try one math worksheet for that matter, and try and give this rubric test to your math worksheet. Believe you me, it'll come as a surprise to you. And please go back to do that. Pick up one from every subject area where you are giving any case studies, where you're doing any scenario analysis. You will see the kind of regional biases that come out of it. Yeah. So that's something to go back to. And last but not the least, I think it's very important to have a balanced way to use, AI. So share scenarios of for code drafting. The way I was code drafting right now with AI, I think for us also as teachers, we need AI to help us define what kind of policy should we have, a class policy. For example, where is AI encouraged for brainstorming, for outlining, but where should it be restricted? Where should it be prohibited? And with rationale being brainstormed by students. So that's something that is something that I would like to put, that this will help you prevent over reliance or keep boundaries very clear. So while the students are doing this, let's say I've drafted this math solution, point to any logical gaps that I might have, ask me guiding questions so I can fix them myself. This reduces over reliance. So first you've gone to AI to ask for gaps. You've gone to AI to ask for guiding questions to fix the problem that you're facing. That promotes metacognition. That promotes reflection. That promotes mindful learning rather than aimlessly just asking a question to AI to respond to. I hope today's session has brought together many things for you. I've focused on four pieces among under responsibility: academic integrity, student privacy, bias avoidance, and over-reliance, prevention. And I think I've given you very simple ways of taking this back into your classrooms. There's a homework that I'm holding today for you. I'm not sure how well you take it, but here it is. You know, do a 2-minute build when you go back to your classrooms. Pick one area out of those ABCDs, the four areas that I just showcased to you. For example, you take privacy as one of your themes. Have one classroom norm defined around it, which means never share personal data in AI prompts. That's one norm that you're building with against privacy. Then go for one copilot prompt. Give feedback on this paragraph without asking any personal information. Offer this to your students. Give me one evidence of artifact, which means any piece. AI use of reflection, bias checklist, Viva question. And in this case, let's say, did you anonymize your text before using yes or no? Just a simple statement at the end of your worksheet is something that that'll go a long way. And if you do try this as a homework, please do come back, share with me. I'd love to see your example. Probably next Tuesday you could come back with this sort of a piece, and I would love to share with everybody your work, your example, and excite and motivate others to follow suit. So if you have something like that, please do share. I'll be happy to share this in the chat window with you. I'm posting this homework for you, but majorly, let's please ponder. Let's think about how do we foster responsibility in students. It's very important for us to reflect because we are building digital communities that are responsible, mindful, and need to be ethical while using AI. Please do let me know if you have any questions. Thank you so much for joining us today. And in case you would like to host session for your school, then please do let us know. We'll be happy to host these sessions for your school as well. And I would love to share with you that there are these micro learning sessions that we host on Instagram. I'll give you links of all the three. I'll play one for you to give you a taster of what this means. I ran a series of three-part series of what's the difference, know your tool better. And between Copilot Chat and M365 Copilot, people get confused. Part one is something I'll let you watch. Part two is something I'm going to play for you here. And if you can't hear it, do let me know. So these are micro learning sessions that we keep posting on our Instagram handle. I've posted a link to all the three in your chat window. Please go ahead, take a look at it, share with your teachers. It's very important to spread this knowledge. I've also shared our major, links of our feedback form, our YouTube channel, where the recording of this session will be, our Instagram handle, our mail ID. Anywhere you want to join our community, please do join. And of course, you can take a test today. For today's session, we have a test that has been aligned. You can take a test to earn the certificate for this session. You can get a certificate only when you take this knowledge check. There are only 5 questions for you to answer, post which, of course, you have to score 80% over there, and post which you will receive a certificate after payment of a nominal fee of rupees 200. The details are mentioned here in the form, and you may please go ahead and take a look at that, and do let me know how you benefited out of this, and do earn your certificate. It's a great way to know how we are learning. Yeah. And of course, we are here to help you, guide you in any way possible. Do check out our AI in education programs. Those are our flagship programs for your school to get branded as AI in education school. There are multiple programs. So go ahead and try that. I will see you on 20th of January talking about equitable learning environments with AI. I'm going to post, our calendar, the July calendar in our chat window, just in case you don't have that. So, thank you so much for joining us. Your feedback is extremely important. Please do share. And thank you so much for joining us here. It's always a pleasure to see you here. Come back next time with many more educators, and let's create, this learning community and engage them meaningfully for this hour at least. Thank you so much, and have a very wonderful and festive evening ahead and a beautiful week as well. Thank you. Bye bye.